O mighty Darth Doge, how might I serve you? What is it that you command? Yes, at once, your grace. It will be done post haste. Here it is, your grace. I have recovered it. What else do you desire, your grace? Let me know, please. What do you command? The orb of imminent destruction? Doesn't that reside in the closet of despair and is guarded by the way? Come back. Come back. Wait. The orb of imminent destruction? Doesn't that reside in the closet of despair and is guarded by the vacuum of monstrosity? No, please don't hurt me. I'll get it, your liege. Here it is, your grace. I have recovered it, the orb of destruction. Do I get some sort of reward for completing all of your quests? Oh, thank you, my liege. What is it that you have for me?
Hello, you've caught me doing yet another ridiculous quest for my Doge Overlord. This is a pretty common occurrence for me in real life, doing ridiculous things for my dog, which end up with the result of me pleasing her and getting very little benefit for myself. You know, other than having a happy pup. But this also happens to us all the time in video games as well. We gamers are constantly finding ourselves going to ridiculous lengths to complete quests of all shapes and sizes for a nice little trophy, some dope gear, or just the right to pat ourselves on the back and say that we did something really cool that 500,000 other gamers probably did as well. Today, we are going to catalog 6 of the most ridiculous quests we've ever had to undertake in video games. Now, before we get started, and before you forget, make sure to hit that like button on this video. I promise it won't bite, and your engagement really helps out the channel. While you're down there, you might as well hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notifications for more videos like this, as well as live streams. Also, comment down below on your favorite ridiculous quests. Were any of them mentioned in this video? Are there others that are even more ridiculous than these? Make sure to let me know and everyone else know down in the comments section. If you don't have anything to comment, just put your favorite emoji down there, because again, your engagement really does help out the channel. All right, enough self-promotion, let's get started. Our first entry is going to be the game that inspired this entire video. As we know in video games, some quests are put before us by NPCs, some are environmental, some are even self-imposed. However, no quest is more enticing for some of us than those put before us by the video game developer in the form of an achievement or trophy. When it comes to Undertale, creator Toby Fox puts before us a plethora of ridiculous tasks to complete in-game. He gives us a nearly impossible end boss battle for those who demonstrate their villainous ways. He tasks us with going on a date with Papyrus. We were also given the opportunity to relive the Great Snail Race from SpongeBob. One might even argue that one of the most difficult quests we are given is that of completing the game without using violence, something that is far from commonplace among modern video games. However, our entry for this game is going to be the series of Dog Nation trophies, which involves donating 350G to the Dog Shrine. Now, personally, I love the level of dogication that Toby Fox gives in Undertale. Some of the best moments of the game and the best opponents are all adorable canines. Looking at you, Greater Dog. But the Dog Shrine is where I start to lose my patience. Undertale is easily one of my favorite video games of all time, so I for sure had to go for the Platinum. However, if you want the Platinum trophy on the PS4, you do have to go and donate to the Dog Shrine. Now, there are a couple of reasons that I might dislike this series of trophies. One, because it takes forever and is really monotonous, or two, because I also have a dog who probably feels that she deserves her own Dog Nation shrine as well. But anyways, if you want that Platinum trophy, you are going to have to receive these 15 trophies where you have to just simply donate 350G to the Dog Shrine. It's a simple feat, right? Well, it is, except you have to donate them one at a time. Publicly, Toby Fox has clearly articulated his disdain for trophies in video games, and so he set out this monotonous task before us to complete in order just to gain the aptly named Platinum trophy. Don't you have anything better to do? I think for me, personally, the real kicker is that when you've donated enough G, the dog enlarges the size of the box for you. Now, when this happened to me, I got really excited because then I thought, oh man, I'm going to get to donate like maybe 2 or 3 G at one time. But no, whenever you go to dognate some more, it says that you have just painted on a larger slot for the gold without actually making the slot any bigger, making us continue to dognate one at a time. That's just rude. Additionally, eventually you are treated to a lovely song called Absolutely Overfamiliar Shrine, and don't make the mistake of interacting with that stereo. because then it will just go faster, the pace will quicken, and it becomes progressively more annoying. On the bright side, at least you have that cool inflatable flailing arm guy to keep you company while you're throwing away all of your money. Next on our list is a game that we've probably all beaten, or at least we think we've beaten. I'm sure we've all played a Pokemon game at some point in our life, and our main goal was always to get an OP team of Pokemon, or if you're me, just to get one really OP Pokemon, and finally best the Elite Four. Or in the case of Generation 2, also known as the best generation, beat the Elite Four, beat all of the Kanto gems, and then beat Red. Man, there was a lot to do in Gen 2. But if that was your end goal, then clearly you've forgotten what Professor Oak said at the very beginning of Pokemon Red. Your task, which you chose to accept, was to complete your Pokedex. Now, very importantly, comment down below if you ever completed a Pokedex, and if so, in what game you did. I personally finished my first Pokedex in Pokemon Moon when I was in graduate school, because what else are you gonna do in grad school? It's not like you have classes to teach or papers to grade or books to read. Also, the feat was made substantially easier for me with the invention of Wonder Trades. But you know what wasn't easy? Completing that original 151 Pokedex in Pokemon Red, Yellow, and Blue. If you were born after the turn of the century, let me spin you a yarn about the trials and tribulations of the gamers of yesteryear. If we wanted to get those version-exclusive Pokemon, or the Pokemon that evolved through trade evolution, we had to go through a tortuous process of finding a friend who had the other version of the game and had the Pokemon that we wanted, get within 2 feet of them and attach a link cable between our 2 Game Boys, then trade and hope they weren't a jerk during the process and just yoink out the link cable, because yeah, we all had a friend that did that to us. The alternative was simpler, albeit substantially more expensive for our parents, which involved a great deal of begging on our part for them to buy us a second Game Boy, a link cable, and a second version of the game so that we could trade with ourselves. You know, on the off chance that you were like me and didn't have friends, lived in a field that didn't have other people that played Pokemon, or both. And after going through this arduous process to complete the Pokedex for Professor Oak, do you know what your prize was? That's right, it was a digital diploma. That's it. No super cool in-game reward, no ultra rare Pokemon nobody had ever heard of before. It was a digital piece of paper that would fade away to the oceans of time as our game's internal battery dwindled away. At least in Pokemon Yellow, you could print the damn thing off with a Game Boy printer. But seriously, whose parents actually were willing to buy them a Game Boy printer? You know what? Comment down below if your parents were benevolent enough to buy you a Game Boy printer. Let me know. I'm of the opinion these things didn't actually exist because they sound so ridiculous, and I can't imagine a parent that was willing to fork out the money for a little baby printer for a Game Boy. But maybe I'm wrong. But there you have it. Ridiculous quest number 2 is the hours we spent completing Oak's Pokedex just for a nice little digital congratulations. Oh boy, totally worth it. Now, I think we all understand that sometimes video game developers are a little rushed to get a video game out the door so that we have something that we can enjoy, but it's not entirely completely finished. I mean, we all get it, especially if games are highly anticipated and the development process looks like it's never going to end. Looking at you, Cyberpunk 2077. Then we get the developers feel the need to push out a game that should be, you know, good enough so that we have something we can still enjoy even if it's not literally perfect. And you know, this may sound terrible, but as a YouTuber, I get this and I can empathize with it. Sometimes it's more important to get a video out than to pore over every little detail to make it as perfect as it can possibly be. Because inevitably, when you aim for perfection, it either falls short or it never gets released. And this is exactly what happened to our old friend Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. We all know how it goes. The demand for the sequel was outstanding, and Obsidian needed to get something out the door of quality, which, in my opinion, they certainly did, albeit with a fair bit of content that was left on the cutting room floor. Now, your lovely community of modders out there have spent countless hours writing mods to restore a good deal of lost content, which, I won't lie, some of it rightly was cut and needed to stay that way. But there is one questline that I think most KOTOR 2 fans would wish had been released with the final product, and that is False Batu, the bonus mission on Citadel Station. Unfortunately, even the restored content mod doesn't bring this quest back to us, so unfortunately this quest is lost forever. Or, you know, until we get a KOTOR 2 remake, which would be super dope. If you don't remember what this mission is off the top of your head, when you arrive at Citadel Station, a man who looks like Batu Rim, a Citadel Station guard, comes in all big and bad and makes out like he's going to kill Atten, Kreia, and your protagonist and go claim a bounty from the exchange. Now, what was supposed to happen next with this quest? Well, it turns out that Batu Rim didn't work for the exchange at all, but rather worked for the Geno Harridan. You remember those guys, right? The secret assassin group from KOTOR 1 that sent you on all of those side quests to kill high-value targets? Yeah, False Batu worked for them. The quest False Batu was supposed to take you on some sort of a story where you infiltrated or met with the Geno Harridan again, and there were some sort of shenanigans. Unfortunately, we don't know what it was going to be. I was hoping, something of the violent variety would unfold. It was also supposed to be twofold too. You were supposed to learn about False Batu and also figure out what happened to real Batu. In my mind, I'm hoping that the quest would have done something along the lines where you infiltrate the Geno Harridan, maybe do some quests for them, finding what happened to the real Batu, and then either saving him and bringing the organization down to its knees, or killing him and becoming a true intergalactic assassin. But alas, that's not what happened. What actually happened, thanks to rush production timelines, is that you go talk to Lieutenant Gren, who sends you to Docking Bay 3, you talk to the guy at Docking Bay 3 who tells you that False Batu came from Nar Shaddaa, then you go back to Gren, tell him, and you receive a rather lackluster reward. My advice for the developers for the KOTOR 2 remake, whenever it should start, don't leave this quest out. It's one thing that we all definitely want. Have you ever wanted to play a real-life simulator game? I'm not talking about, The Sims, where you build a house, put your Sims inside, set it on fire, and watch them all run around and slowly die in a blazing inferno. No, wait a second, is that just me? I'm talking about one that actually represents real life, like where you have to eat and sleep. One where you aren't the reason great events in history are unfolding before you. A game where you're not a little hobbit safe in the Shire, or a blonde farm boy on a distant desert planet, unaware that you are already taking your first steps on a path that will lead you relentlessly toward the heart of a conflict between the forces in good and evil. Screw that noise. I'm talking about a game where you're a blacksmith's son. Everyone in your town looks down on you, and you have no idea how to fight. You're never gonna get your own land, command respect, but hell, you know what? You can drink with the best of them. If those are the things you're looking for, then let me tell you something, Kingdom Come Deliverance is the game for you. However, sometimes when striving for realism, things get taken a little bit too far. And for me personally, that's what happens with the quest A Needle in a Haystack. For this quest, our lad Henry has been tasked with infiltrating a local monastery and assassinating one of the new novices. Well, it's a bit more than that. The novice Henry is tasked with assassinating was heavily involved with a recent massacre at a horse farm and has intimate knowledge that the bandit gang would rather, they don't want to leave any loose ends. This may seem like a simple test, but in 1403, one did not simply walk into a monastery, much less walk in and murder one of the monks. The process of doing this is a bit convoluted, exacerbated by the fact that you have no idea which one of the novices you're actually supposed to murder. So Henry has to enter the ranks of the monks in the monastery, use his master detective skills to uncover which one of the monks is actually pious, and kill him. Again, doesn't sound too crazy yet, right? Well, except for the fact that whilst doing all of this sleuthing around, Brother Gregor, has to attend to all of his monkly duties as well. Meaning, yes, you are going to have to spend real time in-game reading, worshiping, chanting, cleaning, cooking, all these other things that monks do while sleuthing, and let me tell you, these monks are really strict about making sure that the novices do their chores. It really does take the immersion to the next level, which is pretty cool, except sometimes you just don't really feel like worshiping all day and sleuthing around for just getting 1 hour. Then Brother Gregor is gonna throw all of his progress away as a monk by committing murder. Talk about sacrilege. This is definitely a brilliantly crafted, albeit a little too over the top for me, quest that, while very innovative, is still definitely ridiculous. My advice, just do a little James Bond move where you jump over onto the roof of the monastery, sneak your way in, murder our boy Pius, and then just hightail it out of there. It's a lot easier, but if you're looking for immersion, then the boys at Kingdom Come Deliverance have you covered. Our penultimate quest is one that is ridiculous for several reasons. And it's one that I would venture any RPG fanatic will know instantly, so I'll throw it out now. Trigger warning for the most ridiculous quest in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, No Stone Unturned. Now, if you're unfamiliar with No Stone Unturned, the task sounds really very simple. Find 20 stones of Baron Zaya, create a crown from them, get reward. Simple enough, right? Except these stones aren't just laying around somewhere under a rock. I suppose you could say they're invisible, hidden in a dark room that's located at the center of a maze that's located somewhere in Skyrim. Okay, maybe using Anorak's invitation from Ready Player One is a bit of an over-exaggeration for No Stone Unturned, but the zones truly are hidden everywhere in Skyrim. Some of them are just blatantly obvious that you'll find quickly in several Jarl's quarters and multiple faction hideouts and so on. However, probably half of them are located in just random bandit camps or grottos scattered across Skyrim, and you either have to look in every single dungeon, or what you more likely did was look up a guide online that tells you where every single stone is. Oh, because did I mention that on top of them being scattered all over Skyrim, there are no quest markers for any of them. Also, as if to add insult to injury, and minor spoiler alert for this quest No Stone Unturned, one of them is inside of a purchasable house in Solitude, So you'll also have to do some work to become the Thane, and you'll have to drop a nice 25,000 gold to buy the house in order to get that stone. As gamers, our expectation is that the difficulty of a quest is always indicative of the quality of the reward. So Vex of the Thieves Guild is going to have a damn good reward for us, right? Well, I suppose the quality of the reward is in the eye of the beholder, but considering the hours you just spent completing this quest, to receive a reward that grants you just bonus gems whenever you open a chest, I'd say that's pretty garbage. I would be expecting like one of the most broken swords in the game, not literally, for the record, or to get to keep Baron Zaya's crown, which has some stupidly powerful magical buffs. But no, none of that. Your reward for finding a crap ton of gems is to go out and have the ability to find another crap ton of gems. I mean, I guess it's fitting, but boy, I expected more, Vex. For our final entry, we have a quest that's not ridiculous because you get a bad reward or because it's disappointed us in some way. This quest earned its way onto the list because, if you're like me and still basically 12 years old on the inside, this quest is just ridiculous in the silliest way possible and is probably your favorite quest in Borderlands 2. I'm sure Borderlands 2 veterans know that I am of course talking about the name game. Yes, this classic quest was easily my favorite I stumbled upon in Borderlands 2 and the entire game. And if you're like me and again, 12 years old inside, you probably didn't even finish the quest because, yeah, it's honestly way funnier to not finish it, and it really is just going to amplify the rest of your gaming experience. If you're an unfortunate soul that hasn't played Borderlands 2 yet, then I have a feeling that between this quest and me mentioning there exists a diamond-encrusted unicorn named Butt Stallion, you will be looking up the game on Steam and adding it to your library before this video even ends. So anyway, for this quest, Sir Hammerlock wants to come up with a better, catchier name for Bullymongs and tasks you, the Vault Hunter, to go out and study them and learn what you can about them, hoping to come up with, some sort of better name from your discoveries. First, you go and investigate some of their droppings, and upon doing so, he determines that Bullymongs have primate level intelligence, and so decides they should be known as primal beasts. This has the added bonus of changing the name of Bullymong in-game to primal beasts until you progress further in the quest. Unfortunately for our boy Hammerlock, the publishers of his almanac didn't love the name primal beasts, so after you blast one with a grenade, he determines they should be called Ferivores because of their ferocity. Again, Hammerlock falls in some bad luck and learns that the name Ferivore is actually trademarked. This leads us to the best part of the game where, in anger over his two names not turning out well, he creates a new and hilarious name for them.
Sick of coming up with names for, you know what? Bonafart. All of them. That's right, we're calling them Bonafarts now. Just kill a few of them or something, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, that's right, boner farts. Like I said, clearly I'm still 12 years old inside because I find this just absolutely hilarious. Here's my pro tip for you. Don't finish the quest and just let all of the Bullymongs all over the game be known as, now and forever, boner farts. This is the one quest in the list where, honestly, the best reward comes from not completing it. All right, that'll wrap it up. 6 completely ridiculous quests that we've all played in video games, and if you haven't, I don't know, maybe don't complete them. Can you think of any other ridiculous quests? Let me know down in the comments below. If you can't think of anything, drop your favorite emoji down there to help with the algorithm. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you stay up to date with new videos and live streams, and I'll see you in a later video. Thanks for watching.